You know that horrible sinking feeling when your Mac pops up an error saying a drive needs to be formatted and you suddenly realise, hang on, that has years of photos on it. Or when you're doing cleanup, empty the bin, you feel really proud of yourself and then notice the folder you just deleted was the actual client project. Guys, I've been there and it's a nightmare. Hey everyone, Andy here from Mr. Yoo-Hoo. Today we're doing something a bit different. This is my real world guide to the top 5 ways to recover lost data on a Mac using stellar data recovery. This isn't just theory. I set up a bunch of oh no situation in my own Mac. Deleted files, formatted cards, an external drive that won't mount, even a Mac that refuses to boot. And we're going to walk through how I tackle each one with Stellar. If you want to have Stellar ready before disaster strikes, I'll leave a link in the description where you can download Stellar Recovery for Mac. You can run a full scan for free and see exactly what it finds. Guys, if you actually need to recover the data, that's when you jump onto a paid plan. And quick note for Windows users watching, Stellar is also available for Windows, and I'll drop that link near the top of the description as well. All right, let's talk quickly about what Stellar actually is, then we'll jump into scenario number 1. Stellar's been around the data recovery world for about 3 decades. Over 130 million downloads, used in more than 190 countries. It's designed to pull back deleted, formatted, or otherwise vanished files from internal drives. External HDDs and SSDs, USB sticks, SD cards. Guys, basically most of the stuff you and I are using day to day. Under the hood, it supports APFS and HFS Plus on Mac, and the usual NTFS, FAT, and XFAT you'll see in other drives. And it recognizes hundreds of file types. Documents, photos, videos, emails, archives, guys, you name it. Most importantly, it scans in read-only mode, which means not writing anything new to the damaged drive while loading. That's exactly what you want when you're trying to salvage data because it only takes time, but also can take resources as well. Now guys, that out of the way, let's get into the 5 real-world Mac scenarios and how I deal with each one. So the first one, I deleted the wrong folder and then I emptied the bin. Guys, this is so common, isn't it? And yes, I've done it more than once. On my external SSD, I've set up a project, some 4K video clips, photos, invoices, word scripts, all in one folder. I've deleted the folder, emptied the bin, and as far as Mac OS is concerned, it's gone. But here's how I get it back. As you can see here, I opened Stellar Data Recovery for Mac. On the first screen, what to recover, I can either tell it to recover everything or just specific types like documents, photos, videos, audio, or emails. If I'm in a hurry and I know what I'm after, I often just tick documents and videos, but for this demo, guys, I'm going to leave recover everything on. The next screen, you can see recover from here. Here I choose a drive that actually had the problem. In this case, my external SSD. It's an important tip here, guys, don't install Stellar onto the same drive you're trying to recover from. And don't keep writing new stuff to that drive. You'll just overwrite the very data you're trying to get back. I select the drive, I leave deep scan on, and for the first test, keep it quick, and I hit scan. Within a short while, as you can see, Stellar starts listing results. On the left, I can see a tree of folders, including one called deleted files. On the right, I can preview individual files, photos, videos, the whole bit. The preview is really handy because it actually means I'm not guessing. I can actually see it's actually the correct video or the correct photo before I recover both. Once I checked everything, I just tick the folder, click recover, and then choose a different healthy drive as a destination. A minute later, that deleted forever file is back. So that's number 1, undoing the I emptied the bin by mistake. In scenario 2, I formatted the wrong SD card or external drive. So guys, this one hurts even more, especially if it's from a camera or a client shoot. Take an SD card with sample photos and video on it, and I've done a quick format in disk utility. The card mount's fine, but Finder shows that it's completely empty. Again, I open up Stellar, and this time I select the SD card as the source. Here I run on deep scan, because with the formatted media, you often need that extra level of scanning. I hit scan, grab a coffee, and let it do its thing. Deep scans will take longer, especially on bigger cards, but when it finishes, Stellar groups the results by file type. So I've got a photo folder, a video folder, maybe some stray system files. I can click on a JPEG and see the thumbnail. I can click on a movie file and preview the clip. It's really easy. In my test here, it's found the original photos and video clips before I formatted the card. The video frames may not always match what they were originally, but that's how file signatures work once the directory is wiped. But the content itself is there, and I can rename everything after I've copied it into a safe drive. So that's way number 2, recovering those I formatted the wrong thing moments. Scenario 3, my external drive won't mount. Now guys, this is truly a scary one and happened too many times to me. You plug in a drive, you hear it spin up or see lights flash, but nothing appears on desktop. Mac OS might pop up a message saying the disk can't be read and needs to be initialized. At this point, most people hit erase because they don't just want it to work again. Guys, for goodness sake, please don't do that. With my little test here, I've deliberately messed up the partition so Mac OS sees it as initialized. I dismiss the initialized window, open Stellar, and this time look for recover from Mac at list of physical drives. Even though Finder doesn't show a usable volume, Stellar can still see the underlying device. I select it, turn on deep scan, and start the scan. Now this is usually a longer sector by sector process, so again, patience is key. But when it finishes, I'm often rewarded with a mix of classic tree, which is Stellar trying to rebuild the original folder structure, and file type based lists like documents, photos, and videos. In my test, I brought back these sample documents and media I had in there before I broke it. Same drill, preview, tick the files I care about, recover them to a healthy drive, and only then do I think about wiping or replacing the faulty one. So that's way number 3, pulling data off a drive that refuses to mount properly. But scenario 4, my MacBook won't boot at all. Now guys, this is the nightmare version. Maybe macOS has been updated, went wrong, maybe the internal drive is on its way out and you get a grey screen, or something has happened. But this is the worst thing that can happen with your Mac. If you've got Stellar's Mac version that supports Crash Mac recovery, you can create a bootable USB with a Stellar recovery environment. The idea is that instead of booting from your internal drive, you boot from your Mac with a USB stick, run Stellar from there, and then scan the internal drive without touching the operating system. Now I haven't actually done this because my Mac didn't crash, but you can see the flow here. On a working Mac, you install Stellar, go to recover from Crash Mac or create recovery drive option, plug it into your USB stick, and let Stellar make it bootable. Then you plug that USB into the broken Mac, hold the right key at startup to boot the USB, and once Stellar loads, you'll see your internal drive listed as a target for recovery. From there guys, it's the same pattern you've already seen. Pick what to recover, scan, preview, and copy the important files off to an external drive. Documents, desktop folders, photo library, the stuff you actually care about. Once these are safe, you can deal with reinstalling macOS or replacing the internal SSD. So guys, that's way number 4, using Stellar as a lifeboat when the whole Mac refuses to start. And as you can see, it's quite common here. Each time you use Stellar, it's a very easy to use format. You let you go in there, click, drag across, and it works. It's brilliant. Scenario 5, the drive is dying, but I still want one last shot. Sometimes you hear a drive clicking or you get constant I/O errors, but it still just about works. Every extra minute you keep hitting it with scans increase the risk of it failing completely. In those cases, I like a slightly safer approach. I create an image of the drive and then recover from the image instead. So Stellar has options like create image and recover from image. On a shaky drive, I'll go to create image, pick the problem disk, and let Stellar clone as much of it as it can into a single image file on a healthy external drive. If it hits bad sectors, it will try to skip them, but at least I'm not hammering the failing disk over and over again. Once an image is created, I can disconnect the dying drive, go to recover from image, load that file, and run all my deep scans against the image instead. Same interface, same preview, same recovery steps. But now all the hard work is being done against a copy, not the original hardware. So that's way number 5, creating it via disk image. But guys, there's also other bonuses. Other Stellar tools worth knowing about? Because I've been digging through their site, I also want to mention that Stellar isn't just one data recovery app. If you work in Office or do a lot of business stuff, they've got full file repair tools like things for Windows and Excel documents, PowerPoint files, QuickBooks databases, and even SQL databases. If your spreadsheet or database refuses to open, these tools are designed to repair the actual file so you can get back into it. There are also other email tools like Outlook PST repair, Exchange, and even Active Directory repair. Plus some free online tools for fixing photos and video files directly in a browser. So if you're the tech support person for your family or small business, the Stellar ecosystem covers a lot more than just USB sticks. It really is fantastic. So wrapping up, those are my 5 top real world ways I use Stellar on a Mac. Recovering deleted files from after emptying the bin, bringing back data from a format SD card or external drive, pulling files off a drive that won't mount, rescuing data from a Mac that won't boot, and imaging a failing drive so I can recover from a copy instead of stressing the hardware. Guys, my honest takeaway is this: no tool can magically fix everything, especially if the drive is physically dead or you've overwritten data. But having something like Stellar installed and knowing how to run a scan gives you a real shot at getting your stuff back when things go wrong. If you want to try it for yourself, there'll be a link below where you can download Stellar Data Recovery for Mac, run a full scan for free, and see what it finds. And for Windows users, I'll also include the link to Stellar Data Recovery for Windows near the top of the description. Guys, if this walkthrough was helpful, hit like, subscribe to the channel, and tell me in the comments which of these 5 scenarios you've lived through. Or if you've got another horror story you want me to test out for you, or guys, if you actually need any help whatsoever, we're here to help and we love reviewing software. Anyway, thanks for joining us here for Stellar Software Review. Andy at Mr. Yoo-Hoo.